We did it.
Well, the QB20 offseason has been phenomenal when you consider the names and the movement and the contracts and everything involved. So far, we got Tom Brady expected to sign with Tampa Bay. We still don't have the ink on the signature on the paper just yet, but that's kind of a logistical thing with his physical and whatnot. Dak Prescott, the franchise tag from the Cowboys. Ryan Tannehill, the mega deal from Tennessee. Teddy Bridgewater, now the starter in Carolina. And Nick Foles going to push Mitch Trubisky there in Chicago, try and get the Bears back to division contention. Our Super Bowl winning quarterback, David Carr, back with us here. I got a bunch of questions for you on these guys. Let's start with the big move. Tampa Bay gets Tom Brady. We all think that Tom Brady will be an addition to the Buccaneers. What do the Bucs have to do to make sure Tom can succeed?
It's a great question. I think that what the Bucs have done in the recent past, especially with Bruce Arians, is kind of spread the field and thrown the ball up. No brisket, no biscuit. And Tom Brady hasn't necessarily done that the last few years. Remember when they won the Super Bowl, I formation was the key. They had a strong run game, and he threw the ball quickly, got it out of his hand, found completions, identifies coverage. It's a completely different world. So this age we live in now, with the limited time that they're going to have in the offseason, how are those two going to mesh? And that's going to be the interesting part, because I think that one of the main reasons that Tom chose the Bucs over the Chargers is because he really believes that Bruce Arians will be able to go multiple personnel, different types of matchups, and really put pressure on the defense. And I would expect them to do a lot of that. So I'm excited to see this and see how this unfolds, but the run game needs to be strong. The offensive line needs to be a little bit better. So there's some things they still have to kind of work through as these offenses kind of come together.
It's also going to help if Mike Evans remains 6 feet 4 inches and able to fight off any other defensive back.
No doubt about it.
Kind of look over there, throw it up. Oh, Godwin's over there because you're doubling him.
When in doubt, throw it up to Mike Evans.
Right now, not bad. Elsewhere in mature quarterback news, old man Phillip Rivers going to Indianapolis. What kind of Phillip Rivers should we expect? 2-3 years ago, Phillip Rivers, or last year's, which wasn't his sharpest?
Well, I think really 2 or 3 years ago, Rivers, I think he still has some of that left in him. I know we saw some mechanical things that kind of plagued him last year, some high throws, some forced passes in desperate situations. I honestly think a lot of that comes from just not trusting the system, not trusting what's going on around you, and trying to make too many things happen. I've been in that situation before, as has every quarterback at certain points in their career. I think Phillip is still a guy that can play at a high level, and if you give him a solid offensive line, which he's going to have in Indianapolis, give him a good run game and a strong defense with a guy that he trusts. The most important thing is a guy that he trusts calling plays. You don't have to necessarily force the issue, because you know the next play is going to be an even better one, or it's going to be a winner for you. So I think that relationship between him and Frank Reich is going to be crucial to their success.
This offseason has been different than last offseason in that we have not talked a lot about the Cleveland Browns. We're about to, though, right now. Baker Mayfield, #1 pick in the draft. He's going into year 3. How much pressure is he under, and does the signing of Case Keenum play into that at all?
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, Case is just there to kind of back up the situation. I mean, that's not going to be something that really pushes. I think Baker is more concerned with obviously bringing in some help at tackle, which they did, and then Kevin Stefanski installing a new offense, which I think is going to be very friendly. I think it's going to play a little bit more towards what Baker's strengths are. I'm excited to see how that kind of works. I think you still have to add some of those RPO things, some of the things he did in Oklahoma were still very productive. But if you add a consistent run game, some zone runs with some bootlegs, and kind of buy some time, Baker's really good at that. Obviously, with the receiving core that they have on the outside, that's going to help. But I think Baker's going to play some good football this year with some better protection. That was really the biggest thing. It was just hit or miss week in and week out. Is he going to be able to be protected? Is his jersey going to be clean? If he can do that, and I think Kevin will put together a good plan, they're going to be okay.
Well, Lord willing that we get coronavirus under control. We'll go to training camp like we usually do and get ready for daily training camp quarterback battle reports out of Chicago. Mitch Trubisky went 4 for 6 in 7-on-7 today, and Nick Foles threw 2 touchdown passes. Who's going to be the better starting quarterback for Chicago this year? Trubisky, Foles?
As much as I want Mitch to succeed, I think that there's a reason that they traded for Nick Foles. They want him to be the guy there. So I think that you roll the balls out and you kind of see who shows up as the guy. But Nick just has that type of personality. He's going to come in. He's going to win over the locker room. He's going to give you some stability as far as reading defenses. That's what we really talked about. We talked about Mitch last year and his struggles. He'd get locked into a guy. He wouldn't see the coverage. Nick's seen everything. He's a veteran guy that I think is going to, unfortunately for Mitch, those receivers are going to get excited because the ball's where it's supposed to be. It's on time. It's in the right location. motion. He's not killing them in practice. Not to say Mitch does that, but he's not to that level. So I think the advantage right now is Nick Foles, but we'll see how it plays out.
What we wouldn't give just to watch a little live 7-on-7. I don't care if it's in July and in shorts and helmets.
Totally fine.
Some live sports would be delicious right about now. Yeah, DC, well done. Thank you. Well, if Joe Burrow is the presumed number 8 and tweeted out a selfie saying, quote, appreciate the well wishes. I'm feeling better and fortunate to not have any of the respiratory symptoms. 4 more days at home. Beat COVID with the hashtag there. So it's a pretty scary time right now for all of us, quite frankly. NFL players are dealing with the changeover of the new league year, the business that comes with that, and David Carr and Terrell Davis trying to remain in shape, and the new players joining new teams trying to gel with their new teammates when many of the facilities are shut down right now. DC, what, and neither one of you have gone through this, of course, before, but what type of an approach should guys take right now, David?
It's going to have to be very creative. I think that's the first thing. And most guys have the luxury of either having some equipment at home or can, facilitate a trainer to come to the house and make something happen there from a physical standpoint, and then eating-wise, everything can kind of pretty much remain the same, even though there's mostly nothing at the grocery stores I've checked. But as far as the football thing goes, that's the interesting part, because Tom Brady's going to Tampa Bay. Guys are moving, and they're trying to figure out how to meld these offenses together. So when you have quarterbacks bouncing all over the league, you have to figure out how to get on the field with some of these guys, because if we just wait until August and roll in there and think we're going to be game ready to put a good product on the field, that's going to be extremely difficult. So you're going to have to be very creative, but also very safe and smart, because you don't want guys jumping on planes, flying all over the country to meet up with each other, because a lot of guys live in different cities. So, like, for instance, Derek, he just went to Vegas because San Francisco is literally shutting down. He went there last night. He's in Las Vegas right now at his home there, and he's just kind of laying low, working out. The gym equipment showed up. And then from a throwing standpoint, trying to get some work in. Devontae Adams lives in the Bay Area, but now they're separated by a couple hundred miles. So he's trying to find guys that can maybe come out to a park or find somewhere outside where you can get some work done. But it's going to have to be a very creative approach.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You can get some film study done. You can get some FaceTime with guys to go over the offensive concepts or defensive concepts, but it's pretty limited. But as far as working out, I have an idea of what you can do to work out. I've been working on this. You got to show this. That's how you get your swole on right there. If you're at home, you just go in your backyard, you do a few little squats right there.
Perfect.
You know what I'm saying? A little standing ab crunches right there. You don't need a jump rope. Jump rope is optional. You just jump and you got there. Little burpees. Then you finish it off with some push-ups, man. So that's how you keep your swole on you and you stay fit.
I'm looking through the rundown right now. I didn't see time built in.
You don't need no weights.
I didn't see time built in for TD topless humble brag here.
That's on Instagram, by the way.
Is that your IG? Go ahead, give it out. Is it?
Go ahead.
It's the real Terrell Davis, by the way. There it is.
There you go.
DC, I'm gonna do that workout tomorrow.
Where's yours? DC, where's yours, man? Put yours up.
David, we expect
tomorrow. Stay tuned.
From the swimming pool in the backyard. Yeah, absolutely. Fellas, thank you. All right, some more players doing what they can to help out during these difficult times. One of them, Baker Mayfield and his wife. They are matching all donations up to $50,000 to the Cleveland Food Bank. Posting that out on @BakerMayfield on Twitter. Other big story today, the Rams cutting Todd Gurley. He was the NFL's leading touchdown scorer for 2 of the last 3 years. At one time, the premier running back in the league, but last year, knee issues greatly diminished his production, and some financial considerations were involved in his release today as well. Gurley, 2017, 2018, you could call him the best running back in the NFL. 2019, fell into double digits in all the categories that you see right there. And carries, of course, went down as well, as the Rams were trying to be judicious with his wear and tear. Gurley, upon hearing the news today, damn, I got fired on my day off, going with the Friday quote right there, and then hashtag quarantine and chill. Let's bring in our former Pro Bowl running back, Maurice Jones-Drew, right now, who's wearing something that it could be out of the Debo collection, I think. Well, if you button the top button, but you're looking good, MJD. Okay. Look, this is serious business, though. Todd Gurley is your guy. You work with the Rams during the season. What do you think about this decision?
Well, granted, it's a tough decision, right? Todd Gurley's a guy that literally took the Rams to the playoffs, Coach McVay's first year, and then got them to a great opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, having them set up. Now, I know C.J. Anderson came back and kind of led some of that, but Todd was the guy that got him there and ran well in the playoffs against the Dallas Cowboys. He didn't play as well against the Saints, but had some big runs in the Super Bowl. So he's been their guy. And it is disheartening to see that, you have a bad year and this happens, but this is part of the business. This is the business of the NFL that we see, that we hate. And that's why I always dislike when fans say you should take a team discount, because in this situation, if you don't produce the way they feel you should, they have the right to release you and cut you. And that's what happened here. But I still feel that Todd's a guy. We saw a lot of the burst there. The Rams this year had some issues with their offensive line with injuries. We saw that's why all the numbers went down. It wasn't just the running game. The receiving numbers went down. Obviously, the wins went down.